Today we are going to still continue on for loop, and I'm going to give you two more examples on for loop. So we'll look at using for loop with a string data structure, and we'll also look at using for loop with a tuple. So let's go straight into our PyCharm and see how to use a for loop with a string data type and tuple data type. I copy something from the internet, then I'm going to paste it here. So this, I will consider this as a string. So what I will do now, I'm just going to give it a name. I'll call it, I will declare a variable, scripture. That's what I will do. And then I'll put this in my triple quote. I'll put it in a triple quote. So this is it. Now I have declared a variable called scripture, and then I have these string literals, all these, and I'm assigning these string literals to this scripture. Now I'm going to write a for loop. And what do I want from the for loop? I want my for loop to go into this string literal, look at all this, and pull out all the alphabet that is not a vowel. That is what I want. So I'm simply just going to come here, and I will say for, then I would declare another variable, which is the placeholder, that is going to hold each of the characters that will be brought in. So I will say for all right. So this is my for loop. You can see I am supplying this string literal. Look at what happened here. I'm supplying all these string literals to a variable that I declared, and that variable is called scripture. So I'm supplying this to it. And now I am saying, I'm instructing the for loop, go into this string literal. For each character, if that character is not in this, print it out. That is the simple instruction I'm giving. So I'm saying, evaluate this scripture, meaning go into it, look at the first character, which is T, copy it into alphabet, then go in and check. If what is in that alphabet is not here, print it out. But if it is here, don't print it. Now, if I execute this, it's going to give me all those alphabets in a straight line. I don't want it that way. What I want it to return to me, okay, let me execute it for you to see. It's going to give me the alphabet in a straight line. Now, if I execute this, see, look at the way it's giving me. Look at the way it's giving me. Now, I don't want it to come out this way. Now, the reason why it is coming out this way is because this print has a new line character at the end of it, that at every point in time, it will move to the second line, to the next line, to bring out, to execute the program. So I don't want it to come out. Now, you can see the way it is. I don't want it to come out that way. I want everything to still come out this way, but only print out all the alphabets that are not here. And I want it to be arranged this way. So what am I going to do? I will simply come here, and I will supply another parameter to the print function. So I will say n equals empty. Now, what am I saying here? I simply copied this from the internet, and I assign it to my scripture, which is a variable that I declared. So this became a string object. Now I am going to my for loop, and I'm simply giving an instruction to my for loop. And I'm saying that go to scripture, copy each character from scripture and put it into alphabet. Now check if that character is not among these, print it out for me. But when you print it out, don't go to a new line. Still on that same row, on that same line, create a space, meaning don't create a new line character. Now check the next one again. If it is, copy it again into this alphabet, then check. If it is among these, don't print it out. But if it is not among these, go in and print it out. So with this now, I'm going to execute it again. Now look at, you see, it's giving me the way this is written. But what did he do? He brought out the first one, which is T. He copied T into alphabet. Then he went in, looking at this conditional statement. T is not in this. So go in and print out what is in the alphabet, which is what? T. And that is what he did here. Then he went back again, copied H, put it in alphabet, then came in to see the next instruction that is given. The instruction is H not in this. Now go in and print it out. Then come back again to E. Copy E into alphabet. Go in again. Check. E not in this. No, E is in this. That means because E is here, don't go in. It's not going to execute this statement. It's not going to print it out. So that's why I'm not seeing E. Then copy L, put in alphabet. Come in again and check. Is L among these? No. So print out L. Now you can see how fast it did that process to give me the output. And then if you look at this is in lowercase. The O in the Lord is in uppercase. So it's not the same because it's Unicode character. Unicode character they have for uppercase and lowercase, they are two different things. So it's not the same. But if I add the O here, capital O there, and I run it again, you can see that it has removed it. So that is simply it. Now you are supplying a string literal to what? To a for loop. And then you are going in to give a different instruction. So like in the first example that I gave, you just simply print it out. But this is how I want this one to be printed. So I'm using a for loop now with a string. Now I'm going to use a for loop again with a tuple. So I'm just simply going to remove this. And I will say number. So let's declare number. Number. I declare a variable called number, and I'm going to assign a tuple to it. Now I will say 20, 30, 53, 65, 87, 90, 100. So I'll just leave it at that. So this is a tuple. Now, why is it called a tuple? Because I have this normal bracket. Now, if I do this, this is a list. So when this is supplied, it becomes a list object. But because I have this bracket, I taught that in one of my classes. So this is a tuple. Now, what do I want this to do? I want to add all of them together. I want to add all this. Now, to add all this number, the first thing I'm going to do is I will declare another variable called total. I will declare another variable called total, and I will assign 0 value to it. Then I'm going to use my for loop here. I will declare another variable again, which is temporarily going to hold the numbers that I will bring out from this when the for loop goes into fetch. So I will declare another variable and I will call it num. I'll call it num. Then I will say num in number. Go in and do total. Let me just do this. Total plus assign num. Now, what am I saying? Then print all right. So this is it. What do I want? I want to add all these numbers and then print out the total at the end of the day. That's what I want to do. So what is it going to give me? It will come here. I declare another variable called total and I assign 0 to it. Then I will come and create my for loop. So for num in number, it will go in. What is the first thing it's going to do? It's going to express, evaluate this number, which is this variable that I created. Now I've assigned a tuple to it. So now this becomes a tuple object. So the first thing it will do, my for will iterate. It will copy this 20, copy it into num, then go in and say total plus this is augmented operator. Now this one simply means it's the same thing as total plus num. So this is the same thing as saying add the value of total to num and then reassign it back to total. So total is 0. Now add it to num. The first number, which is 20, it has copied it from here into this num. So num is now holding 20. Now add 20 to 0 and then reassign it to total. That becomes total is now equals to 20. Then go back again because this is a loop. Go back again, copy 30 into this num, and then come back and it will be 20 plus 30, that is 50. It will reassign it to this total. Then it will go back again, it will copy 53 to num, and then come in and do this arithmetic again. Add that 53 to whatever the value of total was and reassign it back to total. So that is what I'm asking it to do. So that's what it's going to do. Then at the end of the day, print out the total value of this addition. So I'm going to execute this. Now, total equals to 445. If I want to add it, so I bring out this my calculator. Let's add it. 20 plus 30 plus 53 plus 65 plus 87 plus 90 plus 100 equals to this 445, which is the same thing that the computer calculated for us. But you can imagine how fast it did that. So that is how you can use a for loop with a tuple. Now I can decide to change this statement of this my for loop, and I'll simply say I can come here and say find all the even number here, and all I need to do is if num, then I will do this. This is modulus 2, right? Equals to, now this is equals to 0. Print num. All right, so this one I'm simply saying, you can see that I'm changing the statement of my for loop. So I am saying if copy 20 into num, then go in. If that 20 divided by 2 equals to 0, this is equals to operator, is equals to 0, print num. So what am I trying to achieve? I'm trying to get all the even number in this my number. So I'm just changing the statement, but I'm still going to use the same pattern of the for loop. So for num in number, if num divided by 2 equals to 0, print num. So I'm just going to execute this, and it's printing 20, printing 30, printing 90, and printing 100. So 53, 65, and 87 are not even number because when you divide 53 by 2, you are going to get a remainder. So this is num divided by 2 and the remainder is 0. It means that that num is an even number. That is what I want. I want to see number that is divisible by 2 among all these numbers. So all I want to get out is numbers that are divisible by 2. And you will not have any remainder. So this is it. I can change my statement that is inside this my for loop to whatever it is that I want. But the major concept is this for loop. How does it work? It will evaluate this number, which is the variable that I've created. It will copy one by one. And I told you, because we already know how many are inside this tuple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 items inside this tuple. So I can use a for loop to quickly evaluate my expression. So that is what I want to show you in this class. So I believe that with these two more examples, you should be able to understand the concept of for loop. So to we see in the next class. Bye bye.